guys, welcome back to another video. So I told y'all that we're going to be doing an unboxing. So if you saw my previous video, I hauled this with two other perfumes that were a fail. So I'm hoping that this little perfume set will redeem itself. Hopefully this one is not going to be a fail. This is a blind buy. I picked this one up at Marshall's for $21. So this is Sweet Heaven travel set from Gulf Orchid. And I believe Gulf Orchid is a Middle Eastern brand. And clearly, as we can see from the bottle design, it looks like these are inspirations for a particular and popular sweet, boozy, woody scent from a specific niche house that you can find at Sephora. I'm gonna take off the cellophane here and then I'm gonna kind of sniff it on camera with you guys and we'll see, and I'll share my thoughts and see how I feel about it. I'm really hoping that this is not a fail, but it was $21, so I can't be too mad. I will say this is a beautiful presentation. I'll give it to these Middle Eastern houses, is that they really know how to package a perfume. And they know how to give a travel set. Each and every single one of these, it's just under 1 fluid ounce, 20 milliliters, and they're sprays. I need these designer homes to get on it because, I'm sorry, what? For $21, and I should say, the original price for this set was $39. Let's pull up the packaging here. I believe it was, yes, it's $39.99. So the original price for this package, this travel set was $40, and you get 5 20 ml travel sprays on top of that in a lovely presentation in the little mini style. I think that's absolutely darling. That's great value. $40 and even better value, $20. Now, I saw this set come out around Christmas time of 2025. And I was tempted to pick it up at that time, maybe around Christmas or New Year's. Never did. I figured, you know what? I don't really need it. I can pass up on it. And it's just been sitting there for months, honestly, for I think about 5 months. It's just been sitting there, and each and every single month the price goes down, and another month the price goes down. So finally I bit the bullet at $21. So we'll see how it is. Let me just lift off this packaging. And again, I think this is absolutely beautiful. So in this travel set, we have Sweet Heaven Tobacco, Sweet Heaven Cherry, Sweet Heaven Extreme, Sweet Heaven Ice, and the original Sweet Heaven. So I think I'll try out the original Sweet Heaven with these little mini perfume sprays. Very cute. And clearly, like, we all know what this is probably going to be inspired by. Got my little trusty tissue paper. Once again, shout out to Arlene with the Y. Oh, spray too much. Nice atomizer. By the way, these are going to be like my first impressions. I should have said that. So this is the first time I'm smelling it, and instantly I'm hit with a very fruity, powdery, boozy scent. Not quite like what they are duping or inspired by, but this is actually very sweet. Sweet Heaven indeed. This is very sweet and very fruity. Now I have one that is inspired by, I should say, Killian's Angel Share. Cocktail Intense from Fragrance World. And that is by far, I think, my favorite one. Every so often I get a chance to smell one that is supposed to be inspired by it. I've had Camera in the past, and Camera is not necessarily for me. I think it leaned a little too heavy on the sugared dates and the sweet resinous accord. This one I find has more of that boozy quality, and it's a touch more powdery than Angel Share. And I'm very familiar with Angel Share. I swear every time I go to Sephora, I have to make a little stop by the little Kilian section and just sniff to my heart's desire. I swear I could huff that scent like paint. It smells so good. This one is not quite like it. It is a very nice fragrance. I can see that it is definitely inspired by it, but they put an interesting little twist on it. It's definitely more, it has more alcoholic quality. Maybe it's just because it is a cheap fragrance, so it's got a little more alcohol in it. And it's more powdery. So this one is just okay. It has like a fruity opening. I can't say if it's like that apple or citrus or maybe plum. I'm not going to go over the notes too much. Again, this is just a first impressions unboxing, sharing my thoughts. We're just having like a little casual chat. The next one is Sweet Heaven Ice. Now, based on the appearance, I'm going to assume that this one is going to be based off of another Kilian's fragrance, or at least inspired by. They've got quite a few scents in their liquors line. I know they have Apple Brandy on the rocks, the new Kilian Angel Share on the rocks. I believe they also have Roses on Ice and maybe Moscow Mule. I think they have one that's inspired by Moscow Mule. They also have one that's like a gin and tonic and one that's an old fashioned, that's like inspired by the old fashioned drink. So I'm not sure if this one will be inspired by the On the Rocks, the new flanker, like Apple Brandy on the rocks, or if this is the gin and tonic scent. You know, for somebody who doesn't drink, I don't drink, I know a little too much about liquors. So let's give this a little spray test here. Oh, I don't like this one. I do not like this one at all. I think this is going to be inspired by On the Rocks, but it's not that good. This one is very sharp. Honestly, I can't really pick out any distinct notes besides the blast of alcohol. I definitely get that same fruity, powdery quality that the original Sweet Heaven has. But it just, I'm guessing that they put a vague aquatic accord or some citruses and just more alcohol. Like, imagine if you did have an alcoholic drink, but you watered it down. So it does still share that same fruity, powdery, boozy opening, but this one, it has a sharper accord, which I'm going to assume is probably that citrus that they add to it. I don't think that this one is particularly for me, nor do I find that this smells anything similar to the On the Rocks flanker, whether it's Apple Brandy or Angel Share. Now the next one that I'll try is Sweet Heaven Extreme. Now I'm just going to assume that this is going to smell exactly like Sweet Heaven, but probably just a stronger version of it. It's probably going to be sweeter, and it's exactly that. Honestly, I get something that kind of smells like cherry in this one. Cherry or raspberry. Something that smells a little bit like Camera. It has that woody, resinous quality, but topped off with like a cherry syrup or raspberry syrup that almost gives it a medicinal quality. Now, despite the fact that I don't think I like this one either, it's not bad. I like it much more than Ice. And dare I say, I think it smells better than the original Sweet Heaven, but I don't really care for that fruity medicinal opening. So while Sweet Heaven does have that fruity quality, this one imagine you made that same fruity quality into an elixir. Like the definition of a medicinal elixir is with a lot of alcohol and sugars, and that's what Sweet Heaven Extreme smells like. It's not bad. I can see that this one, if there were to be one that would probably be popular, this style of fragrance would be the most popular of it. It's very, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Camera, but with a fruity, syrupy, slightly medicinal accord. So now, if this one smells like cherry cough syrup with some liquor, I wonder how does Sweet Heaven Cherry smell like? I can't get over these little bottles. They are so stinking cute. Like, look at this. I love a little mini. So let's give this one also. And they are very nice atomizers for such little bottles. Oh no. I don't like this one at all. If I thought that Sweet Heaven Extreme smelled like cherry cough syrup, I was wrong. This one smells like Robitussin or Hall's cough drops, Luden's cough drops, Ricola, whatever your mind travels to. This is very unpleasant. Not at all my favorite. Out of all of them, I really dislike the Sweet Heaven Cherry. I'm guessing that booze and cherry just don't mix well when it comes to fragrances. So this is very fruity. It is very sweet. There is some sort of vanillic quality, but that cherry opening is just so sharp and a little chemically and very artificial, which, you know, I understand. These are all made of chemicals and artificial notes, but I've definitely smelled better cherry fragrances, better affordable cherry fragrances than something like this. This is just downright bad, which is a shame because it's in such a cute little bottle. Now, the one I'm most apprehensive about is the Sweet Heaven Tobacco, because I'm not really the biggest tobacco fan. There are a few fragrances that I may like with some tobacco notes. I don't own many. The only one that I could think of off the top of my head that has a tobacco quality would be Clean Reserve's Radiant Nectar, but that has tobacco blossom. Tobacco and tonka bean is another one, but that leans more to like the spiced tonka bean vanilla. So we'll see how this one wears. My fear is that with the addition of tobacco and a sweet boozy fragrance is that it will smell like a cigarette lounge or a cigar lounge, and I don't really like that because that's exactly what this smells like. Ugh, I don't like that. Oh my. It's so I definitely pick up that tobacco quality, but it doesn't make this smell good. It gives it a very sour quality in addition to that powderiness that tobacco can have. There's something just off in this. I definitely can pick up that type of tobacco because it instantly does remind me of Banana Republic's tobacco and tonka bean. There's a hint of fruitiness and a hint of sweetness, but something with that boozy note and that resinous woody note in it, they don't mix well. And it just reminds me of a cigar lounge with a lot of alcohol in it. Not like, you know, Replica's Jazz Club or such, or like that. Granted, I'm not even the biggest fan of Replica's Jazz Club. I'm not a fan of that either. So they don't smell necessarily similar, but this does not smell good in my opinion either. So let me stop like shit talking all these fragrances. Again, first impressions. And funny, I think first impression wise, my favorite happens to be the Sweet Heaven Extreme. Out of the 5, the Sweet Heaven Extreme smells the best, but not by much. When it comes to Angel Share Inspos, I think my favorite still, hands down, is Cocktail Intense. And I can see why Sweet Heaven, this little travel set, was discounted so heavily, because this was not it. Such a shame. Because again, beautiful packaging, beautiful little bottles, nice variety, but I don't think any of these are quite it for me. I'll try to see if anybody would like this within my family and friends, or maybe I'll just try to resell it. I don't think they're bad after I say it like 20 minutes of talking crap about these perfumes. Truly, there's a few. I do like the Sweet Heaven and the Sweet Heaven Extreme. And I can even see the Sweet Heaven Tobacco being somebody's favorite. The cherry is by far the worst of the worst. Oh, I've smelled much better cherry fragrances. So, all in all, another blind buy fail. C'est la vie. That's just part of the hunt. You win some, you lose some, and I'm only out $20. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to me in the comments below. Please, has anyone else tried Sweet Heaven? Any of this range? I know Gulf Orchid is a little popular. They've had pretty nice dupes of like a couple Kayali scents that I've seen. And I think those were probably some of their better ones. This one, not my favorite. Like this video if you did. Talk to me in the comments below if you would like to also talk shit about this fragrance. Or if you did like it, I'd please, maybe I'm missing something from it. Subscribe if you want to. I will always appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.